After a plane crash, a once successful soccer team must survive on an island with limited resources. After winning the FIFA World Cup against Brazil, the U.S. soccer team, including coach Defoe, his wife and daughters Elena and Eva, boards a plane to head home. Assistant team captain Andreas jokes about not using protection, making the teammates laugh. As the plane takes off, team captain Slim, who is afraid of heights, unbuttons his shirt to feel more comfortable. Andreas tells Slim to close his eyes and nap, promising to wake him up when they land. Slim agrees but goes to the restroom. While Slim is gone, Georgie talks to his brother Andreas, upset that the article about their team only mentions Felix and Slim. Andreas reassures him it's not a big deal. Slim meets Elena, the coach's daughter, and flirts with her when he returns to his seat. Slim checks in with Kennefic, the team's benchwarmer, about Monday's practice, and Kennefic says he'll be there. As Slim walks back to his seat, the plane shakes unexpectedly, causing him to lose his balance. Trainer Connie invites Slim to sit beside him, giving him medication to help him relax, which Slim takes. Slim returns to his seat, buckles his seatbelt, and falls asleep. He suddenly wakes up as the plane crashes into the sea. He loses consciousness and sinks into the water while still strapped to his seat. Fortunately, Andreas rescues Slim and brings him to a nearby tropical island. When Slim wakes up, he sees the plane wreckage and witnesses the team's struggle to survive. On their first day stranded, Andreas tells Connie that 22 passengers, including Coach Defoe and his wife, have died. He counts the survivors and confirms there are 15 left. The group then sorts through the luggage found on the beach, looking for supplies. Suddenly, Georgie spots their soccer balls floating in the sea. At the same time, Slim finds a mobile phone in one of the bags. Georgie and his teammate McKenna then look through a woman's luggage, and Eva tells them it belongs to her mom. Felix steps in when he sees Patton pushing Doug to wear their late teammate's jersey. Meanwhile, Andreas finds a first aid kit and gives it to Connie. Andreas also checks on Slim, who shows him the phone he found and wants to use it to call for help. Andreas explains that there are no cell towers nearby, and advises Slim to come up with a plan, as he's worried about their situation. In response, Slim, feeling offended, asks his teammate not to lecture him. Shortly afterward, he falls to the sand with a nosebleed, prompting the co-captain to get Connie's attention. As the trainer examines Slim, the other survivors gather around as he explains that the player might be experiencing decompression sickness. He advises everyone to stay hydrated and assigns Elena to watch over the unconscious man. On the second day, Andreas arranges the bottled water and food they found on the sand. Shortly after, Georgie approaches him to check the supplies, prompting his brother to admit they don't have enough. When his sibling attempts to touch the snacks, the co-captain reminds him that rules cannot be bent, not even for family. Meanwhile, 3 other survivors are at sea, attempting to retrieve some food. While the 2 dive to find more, they entrust the bags to Kennefic. Upon spotting a shark, the benchwarmer releases the resources and swims away, leading Arnie and Marquise to follow and beat him up on the shore. However, despite Kennefic's claim about the shark, his teammates are skeptical. Witnessing the brawl, Andreas and the others rush to intervene. Upon learning about the issue, the co-captain penalizes Kennefic and Arnie by withholding food and water from them for the day. When his teammate dismisses him, Andreas points out they're still a team and must consider the group, not just themselves. On day 4, Slim finally awakens after being unconscious for 2 days. When the team captain requests water, Georgie informs him that he needs to wait a few hours because Andreas has implemented rationing. When Andreas returns, he promptly embraces Slim and mentions their low water supply, expressing concern about their potential survival in the coming days. Despite his focus on survival, the team captain advises him to maintain a positive outlook until help arrives. However, the concerned man discusses the harsh reality that they might soon face the difficult choice between someone passing away or saving the team's resources. He clarifies that 2 survivors, Sevi and Stefan, are severely injured, and one of them may not survive much longer. Later, in the airplane wreckage, Connie attempts to clean Sevi's leg injury. When Andreas hears that they need water, he interjects, apologizing to his injured teammate because they had agreed that he wouldn't have any more until that night. Upon hearing this, Slim tells the trainer to use his share instead. Before the sun sets, the team captain attempts to operate the phone but fails due to the device's drained battery, causing him to feel a bit hopeless. That night, the survivors gather around the bonfire, and Andreas leads the discussion about letting Sevi and Stefan face their demise to conserve resources. Connie objects, but the co-captain points out that they're running low on water, and someone has also been stealing food. When opinions are divided, Slim suggests that each member votes. 6 members want to let the 2 wounded members out of the group, while the remaining half do not. With an even vote split, Andreas informs the team captain that his decision will be the final verdict, prompting him to vote yes. That night, Slim sits beside Elena holding her late mom's bracelet. Upon hearing this, he attempts to put his arm around her for comfort, but she rejects him, stating it doesn't feel right. Meanwhile, one of the injured survivors, Stefan, breathes his final breath in the wreckage while Connie comforts him. On day 6, Andreas informs Slim about their teammates' passing. Felix then goes to the plane, retrieves the lifeless body, and buries it in the sand. Meanwhile, Georgi relieves himself in the woods when he notices an island in the middle of the sea. He promptly reports this to his brother, who plans to take Arnie, Marquise, and Elena to check if the place has food. The co-captain explains that he didn't bring Slim due to his recent coma, and assigns Felix to support their team leader if they fail to return. After the group leaves, Eva enters the woods and notices a tree secreting a fluid. Felix then appears and explains that it's resin. They share a gaze, leading them to spend romantic time together in a cave. Meanwhile, Slim walks up to Connie, finding him alone on the edge of a cliff. Slim confides in him, expressing his worry that help might never arrive. In response, the trainer shares a more profound fear, admitting concern about not wanting to leave when it's all over. He then shows some berries but emphasizes that they're poisonous. During their conversation, Connie experiences a headache. Beside him, Slim reflects that he feels like he's in a nightmare and longs to wake up soon. The trainer agrees, leading the team captain to remind him to tell him once their awful dream is over. Slim stands up, but Connie's advice to sleep tight leaves him with an odd feeling. As he turns around, he discovers the trainer has fallen into the sea, bleeding, revealing that he ate the berries as a way to end himself. Without hesitation, Slim leaps off the cliff attempting to rescue him, but it's too late. Georgie and Doug discuss survival movies while carrying tree branches in the woods. Suddenly, Doug falls into a trap with barbed wire, sustaining an injury. Witnessing this, his teammate attempts to him, despite the scary sight of a soldier's corpse beside them. After freeing Doug from the trap, Georgie walks back and inadvertently steps on a landmine, resulting in the loss of his lower legs. Upon hearing the explosion, Andreas and the others, who have just returned, rush to the scene. The co-captain promptly lifts his brother and calls for Connie, unaware that the trainer has passed away. That evening, the remaining survivors gather quietly around the bonfire, mourning the loss of their trainer. Suddenly, Felix stands up and suggests discussing food rationing again, because of the unfortunate events. However, the co-captain interjects, stating that a decision has already been made, and they must stick to it. As everyone attempts to sleep, Andreas holds the hand of his brother Georgie, who's losing a significant amount of blood and struggling for his life. To end his suffering, the man reluctantly makes the difficult choice to strangle his sibling, unaware that Eva is watching from just behind the woods. The following day, he buries his sibling in the sand. On day 8, Eva proposes using the raft to create a condensation rig to address their water problem. However, they would need to cut the raft to implement this solution. Upon learning this, Patton and McKenna object, concerned that it would ruin their only means of leaving the island. However, Slim approves the idea, instructing them to proceed with the rig. On the other side of the island, Andreas plays soccer alone. When the ball rolls into the woods, he chases after it and breaks down, hugging it tightly as he mourns his brother's loss. Elena approaches him and offers comfort, leading to a steamy moment between them. Meanwhile, Patton and McKenna attempt to escape the island with the raft to prevent it from getting torn up. When Arnie spots this, he alerts everyone. The survivors then swim to reach the raft and intervene. However, the escapees only manage to hit them with the paddle, causing them to retreat. Upon their return to the island, Slim takes responsibility, admitting that it was his fault for allowing Eva to cut the raft. On day 9, the team captain notices Elena and Andreas together, sparking jealousy. Meanwhile, Kennefic ventures alone into the woods to eat in secret. When Arnie catches him, the benchwarmer lies, claiming he was just taking a dump. However, Arnie investigates the area and discovers their fellow survivors' food stash. He instructs Marquise and Doug to join him in chasing after the thief. Later, the trio drags the benchwarmer to the shore to beat him up. Witnessing the altercation, Felix and Slim intervene. However, an enraged Andreas attempts to attack, demanding that Kennefic return the other food he has stolen. Despite Felix restraining him, the co-captain breaks free and pulls the benchwarmer's hair. When Slim attempts to calm him down, the man expresses his frustration, finding it unfair that Kennefic kept the food while they were all starving, especially considering the loss of his late brother. However, the benchwarmer asserts that he's not the only one doing that. He then exposes Slim for giving his share to Sevi. Hearing this, Felix and Eva admit that they too took turns giving their wounded member their rations. When the furious Andreas tries to slit Kennefic's throat, Slim intervenes, allowing the benchwarmer to run and escape into the woods. As the team leader wrestles with his co-captain on the sand, Felix interferes, accidentally causing Andreas's weapon to stab his neck, leading to his demise. As the bleeding man falls into the water, Eva and Slim rush to him, mourning his loss. That evening, the remaining survivors gather around the bonfire. Andreas then suggests going to the other island to start over, and invites whoever wants to join him. Elena follows after the others stand up, leaving her sister behind. When Andreas states he'll take the supplies, the team captain suggests he take only half, and the co-captain agrees. The next day, Kennefic comes out of the woods and tells Slim that only 4 people stayed behind. While setting up bottles to collect water, Kennefic talks to Eva about feeling guilty for not saving a man who was drowning during the crash. Eva, who is crying, suggests they survived for a reason. Meanwhile, Andreas's team is making weapons on the other island, while Slim tries to catch fish for his group. That evening, Sevi asks Slim for food, and Slim kindly shares his meal. The next day, Eva and Kennefic find that their water bottle has collected some water. On the other hand, Andreas's team has not been able to find food. Andreas sees Marquise teasing Elena and feels jealous. Slim wakes up to find footprints on the sand, which makes him think someone has been in their area while they were sleeping. When he checks their supplies, he finds the water bottles are empty. He goes to Andreas to ask for help, but Andreas refuses and hints that his team might cause trouble. Back on the island, Slim tells his team the bad news. Kennefic feels responsible and decides to fix things himself. Later, while Elena is asleep, Arnie tries to take advantage of her. She bites him and escapes into the woods, but he catches her and knocks her out. Doug sees this and Kennefic runs away. Arnie convinces Doug that Kennefic is to blame for what happened to Elena. That evening, Kennefic tells Slim that Elena is not moving. Slim swims to the other island and sees Andreas and his team around Elena's unconscious body. Arnie accuses Kennefic of the incident. When they leave, Elena wakes up and Slim comes out of hiding to help her. Meanwhile, Andreas's group goes to Slim's island but finds no one there. They start burning the other team members' tents and belongings. Slim quietly returns to the island with Elena and takes her to a safe spot. As Andreas's team searches the woods, Slim sneaks up on them but is caught by Arnie. Marquise, who knows Arnie harmed Elena, helps Slim escape. When Marquise is about to attack Arnie, Doug intervenes by shooting Arnie to save his friend. Slim then finds the rest of his team and leads them to a cave to make a plan. He says they must attack to survive, and tells Kennefic to throw stones in the woods to set off a landmine. Eva and Sevi take cover in the cave. When they hear the landmine explode, Arnie and Doug run towards the sound, leaving Doug behind. Slim attacks Arnie, chokes him, but then lets him go. Doug apologizes, and Slim helps him up and recruits him to his team. Slim tells Doug to get Elena and bring her to the cave to reunite her with her sister. Kennefic reveals himself to Arnie and leads him towards the cliff's edge, setting up Slim for an attack from behind. During their fight, Arnie nearly falls but clings to Slim. Kennefic pulls Slim back, causing Arnie to fall. Doug takes the other survivors to the shore, where Andreas shows up and asks Elena to join him. Slim calls out to Andreas, leading to a fight. Slim overpowers Andreas and punches him until he's unconscious. Andreas suddenly attacks Slim again, but a helicopter arrives. Instead of staying for rescue, Andreas runs into the woods. The rescuer tells Slim that they found them through Patton and McKenna, who survived on a raft. After the 6 survivors board the helicopter, the pilot asks if anyone else is left. Slim lies and says no, leaving Andreas stranded on the island. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.